So I am in the same location that I usually film in, but you may notice something is different. And that is because it is in the process of being done up. So one thing that I was very excited about when this idea was proposed to me is that I would get bookshelves that would be big enough to hold all of my books. Now, this excited me more than you could probably imagine. So I'm going to just show you what they look like at the moment. They've just been built a few days ago and they don't have any books on them yet. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to show you how I organize them and put them back up. I don't have the camera that I used to film on or a tripod anymore. So this is going to be an interesting adventure. Hopefully it'll come across as artsy and not just poorly filmed. We'll get to it. I actually can't get them all in the one shot, which blows my mind a bit. But you get the idea. They go across the whole wall. Now, you might have noticed something, and that is that there are no books on those shelves, as I said. But that might give you cause to question where the books are now. So I thought I would show you that. It also kind of explains why I didn't film my monthly wrap-up or really any video last month. And it's because they are... I'll show you. They're currently stacked like this. And the books that I read are on top and also underneath. And to film a wrap-up video, I would have had to literally dig through this, which just did not seem appealing. And so they are stored in a pile on the floor. I can now get to organizing them into categories, which means I can move up and down my shelves to make room for the taller books. But it also depends on how much room I need. You know what I mean? Like, they need to be categorized so as I can change the shelves so as everything's gonna fit together. And that's what I'm gonna do now. That took so much longer than I thought that would take. However, they are now loosely within their categories, which helps me kind of visually see which areas need the most space. And without a shadow of a doubt, the one that needs just like a whole shelf to itself is fantasy. There are mountains of fantasy. Let me take you through what I've done. These first few books are actually books I'm going to be unhauling, giving away, and we're going to move on to the books that I am keeping because there's so many more. We move on to the summoning circle of books. How did that happen? Unintentional, but there we have it. All of my books in a pile. Wow. Non-fiction, which is a tiny pile because I don't read non-fiction all that much. Church fiction, which is a small pile because it's generally speaking poorly written. A miscellaneous pile including dictionary, recipe book, and some plays. Poetry, which consists of 2 books. French books, which are a small pile, but they're there. Contemporary books, and then we move on to quite a big section, which is children's books, which consists of this pile, those 2 piles. Next we move on to classics, which is another sizable pile, quite a few classics. I do enjoy a good classic. Well, let me zoom in for you. Historical fiction with no magical elements, and then let me zoom back out. Historical fiction with magical elements. Harry Potter, which is just its own pile, as well as the Mortal Instruments and the Shadowhunter Chronicle books, which again, their own pile. Twilight, because who can categorize that any other way? Then we have these 2 here, which, poor lighting, my bad, sorry, are dystopian books, because that was a whole thing for a while, and everyone who kind of started booktube in my generation read a lot of this. So that's that pile there. And then we move on to the fantasy, and just every pile from this point forward is fantasy. So just take for granted that that's what these next piles are. You taking it in? Are you taking this in? All fantasy. All fantasy. Okay, well, this is my room now. It's not finished, and there's there's things that aren't finished yet, but I'm keeping those out of the frame as best I can. The books are now categorized, but I'm not going to be putting them on the shelves, bar, the TBR books, which I showed you a minute ago. I'm not going to put them on the shelves yet because I have to go to work in a few minutes and I don't want to leave it half done. So I'm going to do that maybe when I come home or tomorrow, so the lighting might be different or maybe perhaps a bit funky, but we'll do the best we can. Anywho, this actually took so much longer than I thought it would. I started this like 2.5 hours ago and I've just been organizing books, lifting them, and they're heavy, okay? Books are heavy, so this has been my journey thus far. Please stay tuned if you want to see how they turn out. Hopefully they'll be aesthetically pleasing at the end, but we're mostly just going for keeping them in the one place. That was the main function of the shelves. So we'll see how that goes. We don't have makeup on anymore, but the bookshelves are finally done, okay? This took well, not all of yesterday, but it took a good solid like 2 to 3 hours to do yesterday. And I'm so pleased, particularly with the Harry Potter shelves, which just look like something, I'm a real booktuber now, basically. So I'm excited to show you my finished product, which is behind me. Hang on, let me flip the camera. Starting with this side of my bookshelves, we have the classics on the bottom, blending into historical fiction, then historical fiction with the magical element, children's fantasy, young adult fantasy, going up to more hardcore fantasy, Twilight, because that is the only way that shelf can be categorized, then dystopian, blending to contemporary, then we have urban fantasy. My TBR shelves have moved here because they just took up that much space and it didn't make sense to give them the bigger shelves. Then some science fiction / novelty books. Moving down to more science fiction / favorites. These are like all-time favorites, these two shelves. Favorites, I wanted to keep books that like made me inspired all close together. And these shelves are my Harry Potter shelves. I'm just going to give you a minute here because it took me forever to put this together and I'm so pleased with how it turned out. This is years worth of collecting, guys. I'm so happy to finally have somewhere to put them. Okay, more all-time favorites here. We've got lots of Laini Taylor, some Narnia, Howl's Moving Castle, children's fiction, which I have mostly down here just because it's stuff I don't reach for as often. And in the very bottom corner where you can't really see, there's more children's, and also down here in the bottom where you can't really see, there's more miscellaneous, like I have a dictionary, my French books, poetry, stuff that I don't have a lot of. So yes, there you have my bookshelves. I hope you enjoyed seeing me put them together in this vlog style video. It also means I have a new filming location, which is right here. Maybe I'll work on getting it just right. We're not quite there yet, but we're close. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing me put these shelves together in a vlog style video. And that's all I have for you guys for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.